What is happening, everybody? Yes, everything is working. No technical difficulties at the start of the stream this week. Yes. How's everybody doing? It is 3 p.m. here in Helsinki this Thursday, and it is time for the HypeHype live stream. Going to be all viewer requests today, whether that's editor Q&A, whether you want me to check out something you're working on in the editor or play something you've released. I am here to fulfill your desires as much as I can in regards to the HypeHype game app and building hypes and playing hypes. That's what we're all about here today. So, to get things started, I had good friend, homie, Alcox, aka Hypesy, has preloaded me with a few questions for the stream today, which I always appreciate because it means I can fire up the stream and jump in and just get to answering questions right away, which is what this is all about. But I will wait a moment to ensure that Al himself is here since he asked these questions. But we can go now. Let's go to the game view and the chat view. I hope everything is looking okay, sounding okay for you. We've incorporated a few new elements into the stream setup, which means I'm working with a slightly different kind of audio setup than I usually have. So it looks pretty good on my end, but let me know if the game sounds are too loud, not loud enough. If the music is too loud, I'm probably... Well, it depends on whether we're playing or whether we go into the editor. If we're in the editor, I'll leave this music on. If we're going to go play some hypes, I will turn it off anyway. I am anyway going to just drag it down a smidge more. And then, to get started, I'm going to take a look at these questions from Al. Let's see what Al's got here. Hopefully he shows up while I am checking this stuff out. And in fact, I probably should have done this already since he had sent me this link already. But I'm just going to really quickly get this link. Actually, no, I don't really need to because I have my awesome administrative powers. I can go and just find the draft that he linked me. Maybe that's a playlist. I guess I do need to go. I'm not gonna go just digging through his stuff there. I'll go get the link. But for that, I'm gonna... Hey, there he is. What's up, man? I'm gonna go just to the BRB here so you don't have to watch me go and flip through some various apps on my iPad here as I retrieve this link. So we're gonna copy that link because they don't open from Discord, and then just paste it in here, and then from there we can open it. Perfect. Here we go. And we got a little bit of music going, so let's kill this other music. And let's see what we got here right off the bat. Before we jump into the questions, let's see where he is. So we got a ship here, and it looks like we're dodging asteroids. Really nice. Alright, alright. Very cool. Oh, we got some spacemen there. Sweet. Oh, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. We got UFOs. Aha, and it got me. Alright, and like crazy particles. Alright. So let's go. Oh, it seems this is either a draft or already released. Hey, Hamo, what's going on? Hamo. Hamu. So we can just remix here. We don't need to go find your draft and then look at what we're playing with here. Alright, so let's look at the questions. I'm not going to just start digging into your hype here without seeing what you want to know. Alright, so question number 1. How do I get the objects to rotate in random on the X, Y, and Z? Alright. How to create particles like warp speed, Star Wars like. Okay, okay. Leaderboard doesn't seem to work, to be working properly, but you think you've set it up properly. We can take a look at that. And then number 4 in my hype, chase the sun. How did I get the sun to stay in place? All right. I think maybe I'm going to do, well, we'll save that number 4 since it's going to be in a different hype here. So let's just tackle these in order. So how do you get the objects to rotate randomly on the X, Y, and Z? All right, so let's see what we got here. We've got a bunch of these asteroids. Do these have some, they've got a, some sort of instance on them. Blue Crush. And then, all right, you got spawners here. All right, all right. And they're spawning the rocks and the spaceships and the asteroid. Aha, so this Blue Crush is, you got particle effect in here. You got a collision. It goes to a broadcaster. The broadcaster is game over. Okay, so that is detecting if it collides with the spaceship. You didn't ask this, but personally, just looking at what you've got here, I would probably set these up so that the spaceship is what's trying to detect collision. It doesn't really make a difference. The way you have it set up here is perfectly fine. I like to keep this stuff kind of with the things that it affects the most. So personally, I would do that, but that's fine. It's completely okay to not do that. All right, so you have. I'm just gonna really look at what else you got going on here. So this is being moved by vector transform. All right, so you're sending the joystick values into there. And then these are to prevent you from going out of bounds. Like if we just go that way. You kind of hit the wall. All right. Now, I'm going to make another suggestion. Sorry that I'm just like picking apart your hype now. But just another suggestion. I know you asked about this on the Discord, and I didn't answer you because you had already gotten some answers and kind of solved your problem. But it is possible to do this without these collisions. And basically what you would do is check these values before you pass them to the vector, and basically, you know, you find out what the value is. Like, let's say, for example, this guy right here, he's at x5. I assume this is x, yeah. So you could say anything over -5 or anything below -5 you don't want to pass to the vector transform. And then same thing for the y-axis. And then you do that for both sides. It's a little more complicated. This is a simple solution, and if it works, you're fine. Just a suggestion. Game Seekers in the house. What's going on? Ryan PH. Yelp. Glad everybody is here. All right. So yeah, all right. So now let's get to the questions. So we have the spawners here. I guess in each one of these is a spawner for a different type of obstacle you have here. That makes sense. That's how I set it up too. So we want to get random rotation out of these rocks. How are these guys moving? I assume they are Oh, it's because its physical properties are in here? Yes, all right. Not particle, physical. So physical, we're static, default. Okay, okay. So these are purely being animated, no physics going on. All right, so we want to randomly rotate it on the X, Y, and Z axes. So I think, the problem we might run into is, I think if we try and use vector transform, there's some uniformity to it on the X, Y, and Z, right? So if you're, for example, you can't have a different duration between the X rotation and the Y rotation in the vector transform. It's all connected. And I believe, maybe Hamu can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you can't stack vector transforms that are performing the same operation. So you can use like a vector transform that's transforming the position, and you can use a vector transform that's transforming the rotation, but you can't have two vector transforms that are both transforming the rotation. One of them is going to override the other one, I think. Hamu, if you heard that, let me know if I'm right or not. So I think what we might want to use here is separate, just individual transforms set to each rotation. And then we have a little more control over how we can randomize them. And definitely, well, you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can override that by, in the vector transform properties. So let's see, where is your vector transform on these? What is controlling the... What do you have here? This is a vector transform for rotate. I guess that's some in progress stuff. Where's the actual thing that is controlling the movement of these guys? The spawner has a vector transform. Okay. There he is. All right. So the spawner has vector transform. And yeah, so you've already got it here. You've got it set to absolute transform, which is going to use global coordinates. So you don't have to worry about the rotation overriding the trajectory of the asteroid, because with this absolute transform, it doesn't really care about the rotation of the object. It just cares globally from what position to what position is it moving to. So Hamu says any number of vector transforms are possible to use on a single object. But so what if you have two different ones both trying to animate rotation at the same time on different axes, right? Because one of them is going to say I'm rotating on Y and X and Z are 0, and the Z is going to say I'm rotating on Z, but the X and Y are 0. And isn't the one of those is going to kind of override the other one, yeah? But Hamu says it should work, and I believe Hamu. So let us take a look at what we can add here. So this has vector transform in it. If we go down here and we add, okay, well, we can't add it to the object, but we can add it to the container. So I'm just going to work with spawner 1 here and see if we can get this to work. So we're going to go from here, vector transform. Let's do a nice snap to grid so we can keep these organized. Are these on the same? Not quite. Close enough. So that goes in there. And this is going to go to, how is this one set up? It's set up so target is there. We're going to do rotate, and we're going to set up some randomness to this. All right. So let's say, well, I think because the main thing, like we want it to constantly spin, right? So we're going to set a loop, set this to linear, and then it's really, and then we can kind of set the same value. It doesn't really matter what it is, because it's the duration that's going to really determine how much it's going to spin. So let's just leave this at this, and let's say on start right away, and let's just see what happens. So right now it should only spin on one axis and just this one asteroid. Let's see if anything happens. And it should have been that guy right there. Does not appear to be spinning. It has some random rotation in how it spawns, but I guess you had that set up already. This was enabled, yes. Loop, yes. Global, yes. What if we change this to absolute? Or we could change this to local. What if we put it on local? Still no. All right. So, aha. No. I'm going to be honest, I don't know exactly how this is working. This vector transform Z42 is doing X. Oh, this is the vector transform of where the spawner rotate or spawn where the spawner spawns the asteroid from. So we need the vector but this is still the vector transform. No. We need the vector transform that moves the asteroid. How's the asteroid moving? Is it just moving through the force of the spawner? But it has no physics. Now I'm getting confused. That's a good suggestion there, JC. There is the simple animation option. It's just visual. It does not affect physics. But it can do simple rotation. Let's see. Okay. All right. what if we put just something right in here? We're going to give this the simple animation. Simple animation. Rotate around. Now here it has to choose X, Y, or Z. I think we could also randomize that, but for now we're just going to leave it there. Let's make it rotate pretty quickly so that we can see it. I don't know how fast it is fast with these numbers, to be honest. So I think 15 is going to be pretty fast. It might even be too fast. Let's start lower. Let's do like half that, 7. Let's see, does that do anything? Does not appear so. I'm looking at the right asteroid, right? This guy. Aha, that may be the case. Let's try that. So we're going to go over here to one of the other instances. So here we have the physical properties of the asteroid, and we have some collisions. So let's see if we can put a simple animation here and do anything. Again, we're just going to do rotate, make it a little bit faster, and see if it does anything good. Now this blue crush is applied to all of the asteroids, correct? So if it's working, they should all be rotating, and they do not appear to be. Ooh, that gets pretty wild there. But yeah, I don't know if simple animation is going to be our answer here. Let's see if we can put a vector transform in here and if that does anything that we want it to do. So we do rotate here. And we're going to say, let's say Z 10.5, sure, loop, linear, excuse me, on start. See if that does it. Oh, you know what though? Oh, that is in there because it's directly in the object. Now there's some rotation. There we go. So now we need to randomize that rotation. And so we will do, in this blue crush instance, let's add a couple of randoms. Yeah, we'll put you in there. We're going to copy. Oh, and it does that. Why does it do that? I'm just going to delete that copy and just grab a few more from the library here, the logic library. We want another random spawned all the way back here. And then let's get one more of those randoms, one for each axis. This guy already put in the container. Let's try add these two to the container. These guys are going to all say on start. Vector transform is not going to be on start. So here we have, so we saw the value we had put in there was 10. And that was a decent rotation. It was a little slow. So maybe we want 10 to be kind of near the minimum of our random here. So we could set, oh, that's the maximum. Are we going to set our minimum? Let's set it to like 8. And we'll set our maximum to like 20. That might be a little fast, but let's see. None of float integer doesn't really matter in this case. We can send decimals if we want to. That's not going to be a big deal. So on the random, we're going to send this to the vector transform x, and I'm going to not execute that. We're only going to execute these from one of these, and we'll use the same values here though. 8 to 20. Whoops. 8 to 20 on the value vector. This will be the y. And then we're also going to not execute there. And then the last one, we'll do 8, 20, and this will be z. And that one we will execute. These are all on start, so that each time a new thing spawns, it gets new random values. Let us see how that is working. There we go. We're getting some rotation. Maybe still a little bit slow. We could probably raise that upper value. Whew. Throwing a lot of stuff. But there we go. Question 1 sorted, and it only took one vector transform. I was overthinking it. I tend to do that sometimes. So, let me... But yeah, so you can do that, and then you can just adjust those values till you get some spin value that you like. Excellent. All right. That was only like 25 minutes on the first question. Now let's move to the second one. All right, particles like warp speed in Star Wars. Okay, so you have right now already, we can see here, you got a really nice star field going, right? And I guess what you would ideally like to do is have that exact star field then turn into the warp effect, the hyperspeed, whatever you want to call it. But you can't, unfortunately, dynamically change particles like that. Yeah, so the float and integer in the random, it only determines what kind of value it gives you. So if it's an integer, it's going to give you a whole value, 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's a float, it can give you any kind of point in between those values as a decimal, you know, 1.2, 1.4, 1.67893, whatever. That's the difference between the float and integer. And it took me a really long time before I could remember the difference. Like a lot of times when I first started using that, I had to look it up every time to make sure I was using the right one in particular cases. Because for like compares, you want to use that integer because you want to get those whole values, because a lot of times you're looking for values that are going to be exactly equal. And if you let the floats get in there, they'll you know, they might be close but not exactly the same, and then your compare doesn't work. So yeah, so for the particle, let's go into your particles here. This is going to be a nice easy one. Let's see what we got here. Looking for, well, you have one here already called warp speed. And all right. And then you've got a warp speed copy, which I guess is pretty much the same. Yeah. All right. You just got one in here though. So the main thing you're going to want is this stretch to velocity. That's going to start stretching them in the direction that they're moving. You can see there though it didn't make a huge difference. So you may also want to, let's look at our velocities here. We have 5, 5, 5. Oh, but that's position. We need velocity. This is what I want. Yes, so we have 20 here on the Z. You have a little bit of Y. But this is going max speed. Why is it not stretching these? It should be stretching these, I feel like, a lot more than it is. What particle are we using here? Visual. We're using the square. What if we take it the circle? I did hit the stretch by velocity, yes. Yes, I did. I wonder if there's something in the particle that because it's moving towards the screen, it's not able to do the same type of stretch as it would if, for example, we were doing 20 on the Y. It's still not doing much stretch there. Why are you no stretching my particles, game? Von Doot, what up? Toot toot, Von Doot. All right. So yeah, this is honestly, I'm not really sure what's wrong with this one. Why it's not stretching? Because it should be stretching there quite a bit with a 20 velocity. But I think, and again, if Hamu was listening, maybe Von Doot knows. I believe that the way that these particles work is visually they're kind of not really using the z-axis when they stretch. They stretch on the x or the y. Possibly it might be that they don't stretch on the z. That doesn't seem right though. But maybe somebody else can help us out with that one, because I think you've pretty much set that up the way you would want it to be set up. Let's go. I guess this is the main one. You have a bunch of extra effects here. Is this basically the same effect? Yeah. You just have many of them. The stretch is not doing a whole lot. But yeah, I might need to ask somebody else about that one, because I'm not entirely sure. So let's move on to question number 3, which is, all right, leaderboard doesn't seem to be working. Stretch. Yeah, okay, but these, so let me go back in here really quick. Hopefully you can hear and see me. So these little particles are moving at max, max velocity here. If we go into motion on the z-axis, they're going 20. Well, they were going 19.9. Now they're going 20. And they're not really stretching. The ones that are coming at us here on the z-axis. I believe in this hype, the camera and the player are not moving on the z-axis. I think actually the camera's not moving at all. The player is only moving on X and Y. So these particles should be coming at us at a fairly good rate. What if, now I'm just testing here, but what if we bring up the age on these a little bit? No, it's not making that big a difference. But that did make a little, I mean, it made it kind of a little bit easier to see because they last a little bit longer. But otherwise it didn't make that big of a difference. Oh ho ho. Oi. Oh, oh, oh. Gets a little hard to see where you are in there sometimes with like the white ship on the really light colored asteroids. That could be true too, JC. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Hamu is they really kind of only stretch on the X and the Y. Although I did, even with this one, right? I did a test where I maxed out the Y and it still wasn't really stretching these that well. Let's go back to the one that only had one particle in it. So this guy, if we take this velocity, we're going to make the Z 0, make the Y 20. Well, they are stretching, yeah. I guess I'm just looking for more stretch than it's going to give me. I want a nice long stretch for a high velocity. Nice, Ryan. I like to do that too. Watch people build stuff while I build my own stuff. That is real nice. Okay, so that was question 3 was the leaderboard. We were going to go past the particle effects and then we came back. So let's see what we got going on here with the leaderboard. So first of all, when we play, we have time. I guess time is our score. How long can we survive? There's no additional score, at least as far as I can see here. And then crash leaderboard score says it's sending 18.2. And let's go back. At least according to this, it looks like you don't have a leaderboard. So let's just see if I was to save this. Oh, I can't because now it thinks I haven't done anything. Let's go in here and just make some random change like this thing that we're not using anyway. Change the color. Now I can save. Took a really bad screenshot. Yeah, according to this, there's no leaderboard. We want to put that on time, and you probably want to put the highest number is best because it's the longest you can survive. At least that appears to be the situation. I guess I can go here to my admin and look at the actual one. And yeah, so we got no leaderboard there. So that's your problem with the leaderboard. I think you were right. It was set up correctly. It just wasn't enabled in this menu. So again, time and highest number, best. All right, and so finally, question number 4. Hey, what convenience. It was about that hype right there. So the question was, how do I keep the sun in the sky in the same place? And the answer is, the sun doesn't move. Pretty much what I did was I really limited how much you can move to the left or right to kind of hide the fact that the sun is just stuck in the sky. Like if we go here to edit and we go, like this is just a disk kind of pushed as far away as I could get it where it still kind of looked bright but wasn't being too covered up by the fog. I just moved it and I left it there. And you can see, like, if we restart and we really quickly we go over to the out of bounds here, the little frog is letting us know we're out of bounds. But we don't see the sun anymore because it's It's over here. So boom. That was, I hope, 4 questions down from Alcox. Yeah, we can go look at that real quick in the Alcox Cyberpunk race. Let's go check it out. Boom. This one. So currently, I guess you have this somehow is... it's connected to your movement so that it's... Alright, so the difference here is that your car is actually physically moving forward. Unlike in the Desert Racer and your Space one, we just looked at where the car is actually staying in the same position on the Z, but the objects are moving towards the camera. So what we want to do here, you want to always keep the sun essentially the same distance away from the car on the Z-axis. I assume this is the Z-axis, actually. It might not be, depending on how all this is set up. But let's just check real quick. Yes, Z-axis. Okay, so we want to keep the sun the same distance from the car on the Z-axis, but we don't want it to move right on the X and the Y-axis. So what we're going to do is we're going to look right here. Currently, the sun is at Z. I'm just going to make this a nice round number to make it a little bit easier. We're going to put Z24 there, and the car is going to be let's select this whole car just to be sure. Area pick, whole car. We're going to move you back to the 0 exactly. So now we're going 0, -24, so we know we need 24 between the car and the sun on the Z-axis. So in the sun, sun's got no physics, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and add a vector transform. Vector transform. And we're going to say, we're going to look at the X. It's currently on 2.8. What if we just move that to 0? No, that's too much to the side. We'll leave it there at the 2.8. Cool. And then at Y, we are, just to make it easy, let's say 3.5. All right, so we're going to go back in here in our vector transform. X is going to be 2.8. Whoops. 2.8. Y is going to be 3.5. Z is going to need a little bit of math. So we're going to take a value inspector. We're going to look at, the target is the car. We want the object properties, and we want the Z position. And then we want a math operator. I'm going to go here, math operator. We're going to send position Z to value A, and then from that we are going to subtract 24, and then that output value is going to be our vector transform Z. A few more things in this vector transform. We want 0 duration, and we want linear because we want the changes to be immediate. Every tick, it's going to be checking the position, and then yeah. And then you said this is glued to the camera, so we're going to detach that from parent. We don't want that glued to anything. But all of these guys are glued to the sun. Yes, that's cool. They are fine like that. And I think we put this always, and it should be good to go. Let us see. Well, messed something up because it pushed it back too far. Or did I set up the... It's global. What if we try absolute? Sometimes that works better. Let's see if that makes a difference. Yes, perfect. Okay, but now we see that maybe I pushed it a little too far. 24, maybe a little too much. Maybe we put this to like 23.5. And then we would also want to move this guy 23.5 just so that they start in the right position. And there you go. Now the sun is going to always be the same distance from the car on the Z-axis, but not floating around everywhere on the X and the Y axis. So yeah, and maybe you want to tune that in a little more. It's still a little far away, 23, something like that. It's going to fix that right up for you. All right. So now, that was 4 questions down from HypeC. Anybody else got any other questions for me? I've been trying to follow the chat, and it seems like we've mostly been chatting about what we've been talking about here. But if there were some more questions that maybe I missed, or now that I'm through this, there's something you would like me to show, demonstrate, play, check out in the editor, whatever you guys want, let me know, and I will do my best to do it. And maybe in the meantime, I can show a few things I've been working on lately. Nothing super exciting. I did put out this hype the other day. This is really still kind of a prototype. You may have seen I've made a playlist out of this now too. So I started out with this really simple ball sorting game a while back. I forget what I built this for. It was, I believe, some internal jam that we had among Frogmind employees. I don't remember what the exact challenge was. But I did this. Just super simple game. I've added some sound and musics here recently. Oh, look at that. That doesn't happen too often. But anyway, I did a couple versions. I did another version of that, which is just slightly more complex. Pretty much the same thing. And then for the third one, I decided to like add a bunch of new stuff here. So it has more kind of pinball elements. These flippers are controllable instead of just being kind of like toggleable as they were previously. These ones with the yellow outline are bumpers, and you get score for hitting those. They feed into the bonus score. And then the main thing that I was really looking to do was to add these kind of multipliers. So when one of your balls passes through there, it multiplies. Is this guy going to do it? Yeah, so now we got 2 of that guy going down there. And of course the goal is still to get the pink balls in the pink hole and the green balls in the green hole. I do have some scoring issues on this that I haven't totally worked out yet, because occasionally it can miscalculate the number of balls that have spawned or been destroyed, and then it doesn't end properly because the end state is based on how many balls are in play. That's why we can see that there. So once that number gets to 0, it should end. But if it miscalculates the number of balls, then it doesn't end. It either ends too early or doesn't end because it thinks there's a ball there that's not there. Anyway, that was a lot. Like a big update to this this game that otherwise was getting like extremely small updates. But I think there's still, you know, like this, there's a lot about this I don't really like. It was all a test. But now I have some of these mechanics I can definitely use to make better versions of this. let's let these fall out. Ooh, I might get a... I don't know, I got a pretty high score on here. See there, we got -1. That shouldn't be able to happen, but at least it ends because it's looking for that 0 or less. I've been doing a lot of updating old hypes lately. I took this one, I added the text-to-speech to it, and I also fixed this knocking animation had broken at one point. Fix that. And also, previously you had to kind of cycle through this, but now it automatically continues based on the pace of the text-to-speech. Seems really quiet.
I'm just a dog. But this is a dungeon. So, good luck.
Well, yeah, that's some stuff I've been working on lately. A really minor fix to that dice thing. I don't know why I keep working on that. And then some old stuff here. And then I showed this last week. I've been doing some work on this. I was sick last weekend. So I did some hype work. I guess I've worked on this one a couple of times on stream. But it's really starting to come together. I got the beach thing here is coming together. I got these cages that can be destroyed. And then once you free a sunshine, he's going to start following you. And I am eventually going to change the models so they're not all sunshine. And I actually think my player character here might not be a unicorn in the end. Oi, oi. These guys also say stuff to you when they attack you. The bummer bears. Ugh. Bertram, hello. Welcome to the stream. Oh, I was just sitting there while that guy attacked me. And then there's also here, come on guy, come follow us. The music changes when you go to the street. But I haven't done a whole lot here on the street yet. And I think one of the main things I'm going to do is I want to add a new enemy type here on the street. So it's not just these bears everywhere. But possibly a... Oh no, he got me. The bummer bear got... Oh, and he's just like endlessly attacking now. Okay. Oh, I'm going to have to fix that. But yeah, so that's the kind of the big hype I've been working on. Lots to do there still, especially on the street side. I was also thinking these like cars. I'm gonna somehow make react to the music. Either they're gonna have like some hydraulics and they're like kind of lifting up with the beat of the song, or maybe they're just kind of like pulsating along with the music, something like that. But yeah, that's my big project that hopefully I'll finish someday. And then the other thing I've still been looking at a lot of old stuff that could use some updates. The one that's really on my list that I'm not ready to jump into yet is this one. The kind of like motorbike style. This motorbike needs a lot of work. It's super kind of like sluggish, and but I would love to do more like this. But I need to improve that motorbike physics. Rainbow beam for the playable character. I mean, I kind of did the lazy version of that, just kind of colorizing the blasts that were the pre-made blasts that come out of the pre-made shooting character. All right, let's check out Flower Field by, was that HypeHype? Yeah. All right, let's go take a look for HypeHype. Generally find it's easier if you know the creator to search by the creator over the individual hype. So we have here a very cool thing. We can add flowers, flower animation, and then we can set the flower. Oh, I turned off the animation, but whatever. And then we have a camera here that it looks like is probably a pretty basic setup of left to right controlling rotation on the Y and up and down controlling a force that moves forwards or backwards. Let's go take a look. We actually have a character there. That's cool. You never even see that guy. But yeah, so we have here vector transform. This is vector transform rotate Y, yes, and this is vector transform Z local. Okay, I'm actually surprised this is using vector transform and not just simple physics. But that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Did I miss a question, dude? Aha, there it is. All right, let's take a look at that in a second. It seems like here, does he have the controller inside of this guy? Yes, he does. So the joystick is inside the playable character. And yeah, it's sending its X value to the Y, which is the rotation vector transform. And then it's sending its Y-axis value to the Z of the other vector of the move transform. And I guess it's just relying on physics here to keep the guy on the ground. Because we do have here, we can see we have the kind of height map ground. So there is kind of like a hill we can go up. And then a hill we go down. Interesting. The camera is probably just using keep behind. Yes. So the player is the target, and then it's the keep behind type, which keeps the camera positioned behind the player character. And then I believe probably here, if we go camera, reset editor view, probably this guy is not visible. Yes. So that's that one. All right, now let's check out this this question from Game Seekers. Sorry I missed that one. And then we're looking at drafts. And I guess it's going to be this one. Constant light beam. Okay, well, we don't have anything here yet. Is this the right one? All right, Ryan, I can try and do that real quick. I do want to try and answer Game Seeker's question here. I'm not sure if that's the correct hype. So So we can try and really quickly do that. Whoops. No, why is it? Just delete. No, it wasn't that one. All right. And Ryan, we want to see. He says play unlisted. I don't know what is singing. I assume it's probably going to be. I don't know which one is singing. Now it's a race to tell me what to do. Ryan and Game Seekers. Which hypes should I be checking out? Holy crap, dude. That's intense. All right, so both of them were the first hype. I guess this is meant to be some sort of rhythm game? I'm terrible at these. Oh. Aha, there's a controller down there. So I'm going like left, down, up, left, down. Whoa! Yeah, this is wild, dude. I mean, I love your custom characters and everything. This is just not my type of game, to be honest. I'm not good at these types of rhythm games. Especially this is like really fast and has a lot going on visually. But Hamu likes it, so you're doing something right. All right, now I'm gonna go check out this Game Seekers one, and see. I might have to, if you just saved, I might have to reload the app. Because it probably is going to... No, okay. Alright, so... You want this to basically be a continuous beam instead of a collection of little balls, if I understand the question correctly. Okay, the arrows are just placeholder. That's why I was having problems with it. And so this is a particle effect. So we're going to go into particle effect here, and we have blast. Now the first thing I would do is in a visual here, I would start the start fade at at 0 so that it is fully visible from the beginning. You don't necessarily need to do that. It actually, I guess, kind of because of the because if you go all the way, you can kind of see that it's not fully coming from the hand, but we can maybe tune that a little bit so that it's at least a little bit closer. Fade out, I guess, doesn't necessarily matter too much. We could probably also want to use maybe a square instead of a circle. We're going to go into velocity here. We don't want any rotation on that. And actually, maybe we want to use this square. No, the overlap, it isn't super nice, is it? But I think either way, the overlap's not great. We can... but also, actually, the other thing about this particular thing is it always going to shoot on the x-axis? Or is there going to be possibility, for example, to shoot up, to shoot at angles? Because that's going to make a difference here with what particles you use and kind of like how good you can get this. But it's if it only ever has to go on the x-axis, it's much easier, basically, because we can kind of just tune this particle effect until we get what we want here. Like we kind of want to spread these out a little bit more, so we're just gonna slow down the rate of how they're spawning until we get to one is too much. I think it's always going to be a little weird though, unless we go full visibility all the time. We could try that. That still isn't still not really doing what I wanted to do. You can also go to and just like spam the crap out of your particles. If we go here, we turn this emission rate down really small. And there you go. We can still kind of see the edges there. It seems like it's getting some rotation from something. We don't want any randomness there. We could go visual. Now we could probably use that one. Yeah, it makes it a little more bright. Is there rotation here? No. These are both 0. Yes. Gravity, position. And then, well, I guess if we want to make it a more like a laser and not a constant beam, although I guess you said constant beam of light. Well, I think stop at the cage, you're probably not going to be able to achieve that with particles. Because particles have no real... They have no physics and they have no real knowledge necessarily of where they are in the game world. So you can't say to a particle, once you get to this point, turn off. So there must be some way maybe to get that to work. But I'm not sure what the answer is. But some other stuff we could add here. Where are we? We're blast. Like, let's. That's intense. But we could back that down a little bit. Maybe we use a different, well, let's use the square for now. But we're going to go, let's go back here. Let's add some of this random rotation back. And then in emission, we bring this way down. Let's do this like, what if we do this like 1? No, that's way too small. But something like that. Particle age, we want to be super short. But that'll help sell your laser. But yeah, I don't know. As far as I know, you're not going to be able to make a particle stop at a certain point and basically destroy. It would be kind of nice if you could do that, but I don't know what that would take necessarily. One thing we could do here is, I guess we have a particle effect. We could offset it a little more on the X, right? Make it look a little more like it's actually coming from his hand. Particle age will help you determine how long your laser is, but it'll always be the same length. So we can see if we go into particle effects here, we go back to the blast. If we go to our main effect that's doing the thing there, and we bring the emission way down, you know, we can see, we can kind of control where it ends there. But you know, as soon as your player moves, the end where it ends is also going to move. And I guess in this case we would probably want to not reduce the size, at least not by quite so much. Yeah, that's 0.8. So in that respect, we can get it to kind of stop there. We're also getting a nice little color change. But you know, like I said, once your guy moves, the end of the particle is going to move with him. Player won't move. Well, that makes it a lot easier. Then yes, you can use the particle age. Good to know. So in that case, yeah, you just tune the particle age until it ends where you want it to end. In this case, I think it's going to be somewhere around here. Maybe like that. And then if you want to, you could also we'll go to this guy. We're going to duplicate this guy. We're going to put this the other way. -5. No, why is it not pointing in the other direction? Oh, because there. I'm dummy. Dummy. This should be -5. There we go. Whatevs on those, but then position, we can position this there, and then we can visual this color can be, and there you go. Now it looks like you're kind of cutting into the cage. I assume that's kind of what you want. Of course, you can tweak that a whole lot. I do not know what the game this is. No, This is based on a real game. Very cool. But yeah, and I guess also you can't control the view, but the angle that you're looking at these particles at is going to affect how smooth that line is. Boop boop a doo. What do we have here? So you're doing some sort of social interaction to free this little green guy, I assume. That's cool. Very cool. Let's check out this this Ryan one again. No, not that. It was unlisted. Sorry, wrong tab. All right, let's go in here. So I think I crashed the app. Probably. I'm just going to go ahead and restart it. Let's go here. Boom. Oh, you're all good, Ryan. You are all good. I definitely understand what you are talking about. I have not used this joystick a whole lot. But I think... no, we're not going to do that for now. This is an old build. So let's go, not there on that annoying sounding hype. Let's go back to Ryan. Let's go back to here. Let's remix this. Oh, and we got sound bugs, so we're gonna crash again probably. Can I? No, it's done. All right. Alright, and I correctly guessed the concept for Game Seeker's latest game. Let's see now if we can load this hype. Loaded the first time, okay. I guess I didn't... Yeah, it doesn't like that, does it? What if we just... It hasn't crashed, so I'm just going to mute this for now. And see if we can check out. Holy crap! Okay, so we're gonna go over here. We're gonna look at controls, and what we have up here is the joystick. All right, so I think what you're gonna. So the problem you're having is that when you play and you push a certain direction, it's pushing out a value. When you let go of the controller, it's not resetting that value back to 0, right? And that's what you want. So what you're going to want to do is, wow, this is sending values a lot of places. But you want to go to the main place this is sending values, which appears to be these compares, right? So, so this guy is sending... oh, those are sending values to the joystick. Ah, it's sending to these randoms. All right, or these variables. Sorry. Easier, much easier. Cool, cool. So what you want to do is pretty simple. Is basically when you let go of the controller, which is this on touch end, you want to go to each of these and set them back to 0. Boom. Boom. And I don't know, and then I guess you probably do want to execute those. But that, I believe, is going to be the missing link for your controls here. I don't know how we would test to see if that's working properly within the context of this particular hype. But that should be what you need. Oh, crap. Oh, man. My bad, guys. That's what tech difficulties does. So let's... Oh, I'll show that one more time. All right. So what I did here was you have your joystick here. It is sending these values to each of these variables. And then what I did was this on touch end. I just sent each of these values a 0, set them back to 0 when you let go of the joystick. But I don't know how. I guess we could just open one of these up, and then we could, whoops, no. Open one of these up, and then we play, and we can open up the debug here, and we can see, oh, we crashed again. I'm just going to open it back up. I'm just going to go into a new hype here. All right, ignore. Let's go. Give me a blank. This guy. That's who I want. All right. So let's make this so that we can see it more easily. We're just going to set up a really simple version of this. So we got a variable, right? And we're sending, let's say the x-axis is going to the variable. And then on touch end, it's turning that variable back to 0. So if we play and we look at this in the debug, why can I not see the value? Well, why am I not seeing the value in that debug? Weird. Let's use a different, what if we use a math? And we say x-axis A, and then touch end A 0. Now we can see value A. We get the 1, let go, goes back to 0. -1, let go, goes back to 0. Boom, 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 boom. All right. We'll get that stuff worked out. There's a couple of pretty nasty sound bugs in the current build that are actually already fixed, but the next update is a pretty big one. At least there's a lot of stuff in it. So kind of the sound fix is waiting for a bunch of other stuff before we can release it. How did the spawner work in Al's hype? All right, let's go back to Al. Whoops. Nope. Boop. Boop. It was unlisted. This end. Go remix here. Sure, let's load the autosave. Doesn't matter. So what he's got here is his spawner, right? I don't know exactly what all these randoms or all these things are doing, but essentially he's got two randoms here that are feeding values to a vector transform inside of the spawner, and that's randomizing the start position. So it's randomizing the x and the y position. The z is always negative 42. So the objects are always spawning 42 units in front of the spaceship. And then it's randomly moving around on the x and the y. And I guess in here, let's see what we got. This is executing right away, 10 seconds, shooting to this variable. What is it doing to that variable? It is subtracting 0.5. And then that is going to both the compare and the interval. What's the compare is doing a output if true, if we're less than 1. Set 1. I'm not entirely sure what's this do. Maybe Al could try to so this is Sticky's spawner. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure what this little scenario here is doing. It's doing some sort of check, but ultimately it's going to this, which is then triggering these randoms, which then trigger the vector transform, and it's also triggering the spawning a new object. And I guess this is somehow controlling the frequency of this. What is this sending? Yeah, this is adjusting the duration. So the duration is getting smaller each time it spawns an asteroid. The next asteroid is going to spawn a little bit quicker until a point. Once it gets down to 1, I guess it doesn't make it go any faster. It stops there. And this is on a loop. Yep. Cool. So yeah, this is controlling how frequently they spawn and making them spawn faster. Yeah, so what we have here is like this is alright, so this is set to 3, and this is sending that 3 to the duration of this interval, right? And then the next time this goes off every 10 seconds. So 10 seconds, boom, it's going to subtract to 0.5. So now this is 2.5, sends that 2.5 to the duration, and now we're getting an asteroid every 2.5 seconds. 10 seconds go by, does it again, brings it down to 2, all the way until it gets down to 1, and then it stops. Doesn't make them come any faster than 1 every second, which is probably pretty nice. Ryan PH, you should be able to see this stream after we are done. I have not had any issues where I showed something I wasn't supposed to show, and as far as I know, the recording is working fine, so everything should be gravy to take a look at this stream of later if you would like to. All right, so Wayward Traveler wants to know how to time actions. And that is essentially the tool we were just looking at there. I'm going to go open a new hype, though, so that we can do a more clear example, right? So we're going to go here. We're going to open up this guy again. So there are a lot of different ways that you can control the timing of things. And specifically, you mentioned the text-to-speech tool, so we'll start there. If we go into the speech tool here, we have a nice feature where, let's just put some text in there. We can maybe see if the sound's not bugging anymore. We want to hear this. All right, we can hear that. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Hopefully it's not going to blast anybody's earlobes. So yeah, and then we take another one of these, right? And we have, you know, another string of text.
I'm doing fine.
There we go. Let's put this one a different voice. So this is going to be
doing fine.
The different person. All right. And so let's say, for argument's sake, we're going to right away. Actually, we don't even need that. We're going to say this one goes right away. As soon as we start the hype, we're going to hear that first line of dialogue, right? And now the cool thing that we have in this tool is that we can send a signal on speech end. So we can go on speech end, right to this guy, and then execute the second one, right? But probably it's going to make it a little too fast. Let's take a look.
Hey, what's up? I'm doing fine.
Yeah, it's not bad. But let's say we want a little bit of a pause in between. You know, we don't want the second person to answer immediately. Like, there's going to be a little pause there. So instead of on speech end going directly to the thing, we're going to send it to this interval, right? And now in this interval, in the duration, we can set how long we want that pause to be. So we can say 1 second. That's the default in the interval. And then we'll execute this second one, right? So now if we go...
Hey, what's up? I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
Oh, this was executing automatically, so that broke it, but we turned that off.
Hey, what's up? I'm doing fine.
All right, so now we got a second pause in there. There's another tool you can use. It does essentially the same thing. Where is it? It's the delay, right? So this essentially does the same thing. Delay, 1 second, execute. And so here, instead of this, boom, we go to this. And we can set the value here, right? So we could say we want to delay half a second. 1 second was a little too long.
Hey, what's up?
No. Do I not understand how the delay works? Well, maybe I don't understand how the delay works. But the first way I did it worked fine, right? So let's do it that way. We can just change the duration in here. 1 second was a little long.
Hey, what's up? I'm doing fine.
At the moment, as far as the voices in the text, we only have these ones that are available. A lot of them are female. There's a few male voices. The UK voice is male. The Arabic voice is male. Of course, once you start using the different language voices, you get those kind of accents, basically, because they're trying to speak the letters the way they would speak them in that language, not the way they would speak them in English. So even though you're giving it English words, it's going to probably come out sounding a little funny depending on what language you select. But it might still be understandable.
Hey,
like,
what's up?
I actually really like the
Hey, what's up?
the Arabic voice doing English. Sounds really like a chill dude. But yeah, so you can only change the voice types as much as these voices are in here. You can
Hey, what's up?
adjust these to some degree with the pitch.
Hey, what's up?
So like, I don't know what the maximum value we
Hey,
can go there.
what's up?
Oh, we can only go to -1. And you can see it doesn't sound great. It certainly doesn't sound like a male voice now because I made it deeper. It just kind of sounds like a
Hey, what's up?
like a woman that's got a frog in her throat or something. But yeah, and I don't know if I assume at some point we'll probably be able to add some more voices here. I'm not sure where we got these from. Obviously, we didn't make these ourselves. We got them from somewhere. So we could probably get some more at some point, but I don't know when that might be. All right. So outside of the speech tool, like you have some example there, some other things you would like to do on time. So actually, the second thing that you mentioned there is pretty much exactly what we looked at in the last hype. Probably set up a little bit differently. But let's say, so you have, certain size things pop out. Then after a few, they get bigger and bigger. And then you get kind of like boss objects. I'm not going to try and give you a date for the next update, unfortunately. I know the guys are working really hard to try and get it out. Because the answer is pretty much as soon as the build is stable and working, at least to an acceptable degree, then it'll be released. But I can't really say exactly when that's going to be. You know, there's a lot of testing and stuff that goes into that. You can certainly request sounds. If you're on the Discord, you can do it in the asset request channel. If you are not in the Discord, you can try and put asset requests in the editor chat here, but this thing, things can get missed in here. Basically, it's just one single chat. It's got 17,600 comments in it. So it's probably not the best place to leave your asset requests, but you can leave asset requests there, and if somebody sees it, they might be able to do something about it. But definitely the Discord is the best place right now to make asset requests. Of course, I think we would like at some point that you would be able to do that in app somewhere, you know, but that's a feature that's it's probably not coming really soon. I do not, there's no lighting updates in the next update. I know more lighting options is something that has been talked about a fair bit, but I do not have an ETA on when we might, I don't know when that stuff might actually make its way into the build, lighting stuff. I believe at the moment we are not taking music requests for sounds, just because of all of the. Whoa! What just happened to my stream? Well, hopefully you guys can still hear me, because it kind of looks like my OBS is frozen. But I'm just gonna keep talking until I know either you can still hear me or the stream has died. But yes, so we don't take music requests at the moment because there's a lot of legal issues that come with music. You have to get the right clearances or have the right permissions and all of this and all of that, and it gets really muddy with music sometimes. So currently we are only adding music from certain sources. You can, of course, make a request, and somebody might be able to look into it. But if it's anything that would have any sort of legal issues, it's probably not going to get in anytime soon, if at all. Aha, my chat has frozen too now. I can see it here in the stream. I can still see I can still see the chats moving in my stream feed, but my actual chat is not moving. So great. But at least I guess that means you guys can still hear me, which is good. Still hear me and see me even though the OBS has died, apparently. But we're just going to let it keep running, and then I think the same thing happened last week. I ended up having to just force quit it at the end of the stream. So that's probably what we're doing today, but we don't have to worry about it right now because we're not ending quite yet. It just means I have to read now the chat in a much smaller window. But I'm gonna do my best here. So Ryan says music made by me. I think there is still there can still be legal issues even coming from a specific person that I think we're just not equipped to handle quite yet. At some point, I think we would definitely want people to be able to use their own music if they make their own music. Oh, hey, and the OBS caught up. Hey, everything's fine now. I can see the chat again. Yay. But yeah, so for now, I think music is pretty much a no-go until we get a more reliable system in place to handle that type of stuff. Custom stuff in general. You know, we can do assets made by people. And of course you can make music in the app. It's, you know, it's not, the tools aren't really there yet to do it well, but someday you'll be able to do that. Yeah, definitely. I know there's a big interest, you know, not even just for music, but, you know, people want to be able to use their own assets, make their own stuff to make their games their own. And we definitely want to let people do that as much as possible. Game Seekers, that's a good question. I can't say I know the answer to it. If you make the 3D model, I think it depends on what the picture is of. You know, if the picture is of something that has some sort of copyright or trademark on it, it could be a problem. Like, for example, a specific model of car. You model yourself a Ford Mustang, it's still a Ford Mustang, and we need to have Ford's permission to show it in the game, right? But you find, for example, a nice brick wall, and you model that brick wall based on a picture in Google. If you use the actual picture in your textures and stuff, like, there could be some problems, you know, but in general, it's a brick wall, right? So yeah. You know, currently in our app, there's not really an apparatus to handle those types of intellectual property type of issues. So I think we're going to pretty slowly get into that. But definitely, you know, it's the dream that people can make their own stuff and use it in the game, right? Exactly how far we're going to be able to go with that and when we're going to get there is something I can't really say at the moment. That could be an issue, yeah, Game Seekers. If you're modeling something from art made by somebody's art, somebody basically designed a robot and then you model that robot, technically that's their robot. That could be an issue. I don't know the ins and outs of that, so I can't say for sure. But it sounds to me like that's something where somebody might be able to be like, "Hey, that's my robot you made." Next game jam. So we are working on preparing a new game jam for you guys. I think the exact date of the next game jam is somewhat dependent on the next update. We would really like to have the next update out before we start a new jam. As you've seen today, there's some stability issues in the current live build. So we would like to get those worked out for people as much as possible before we put another building challenge out that, you know, kind of forces everybody to use these tools that sometimes cause crashes, like sounds and stuff like that. But yeah, the copyright is a very muddy space. So we have to try and be careful, so that we don't get ourselves into trouble, as well as some of our creators might get into trouble. We don't want that. I think you go to any platform where you can do stuff creatively. I think the people that run that platform want you to be as free as possible with your creativity, but there's always going to be limitations legally, right? And we just have to deal with them. And hopefully, as Al pointed out here, not get to the point where we need lawyers, right? Nobody wants to go to court over this stuff if we don't have to. But all right, now we've just been kind of talking about assets and copyright a little bit. Is there any more questions? We are nearing the end of the stream, so I'm gonna start going into wrap up mode. But there is time to get some more questions in if you have something you would like me to go over, a hype you would like me to play, something you want me to check out in the editor. This is the last call for editor questions and viewer requests for this stream. What the? All right, let's check out some. Whoa! All right, let's. Sorry about that. Let's check out. Oh wow, you got a lot of stuff here. All right, so which ones are we looking at? We're looking for Feeding Steven Shrimp. This is Fuzz, Multi-Ball, so much in here. Oh yeah, this was one of the ones you told me to check out. All right, so this is a remix of Hype's Hype that we were looking at earlier. We have a van instead of a car. Whoa! Oh, this guy's fast, dude. I like the big back tire. This is really hard to control though. Oh, into the trees. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's good. I like rolling it off the ramp. That's really nice. Could maybe be a little slower. It's a little hard to control, but that's fun. All right, so what was the other one? We wanted Feeding Steven. All right, we have 4 Feeding Steven games here. This was the one you said, Feeding Steven Shrimp, but let's check out all of them here. I want to see what Feeding Steven is all about. So this is... Whoa, he came off the roof. Whoops. So this is a remix. I remember this one. I forget who did it. Was it Tonally, maybe? Whoa, I didn't... Oh, it's the same button. All right, let's try this one more time. I like the guys coming off the roof. Oh, that's cool. All right, what's the next one? I guess is there something to do here? We just looking around. We have some things here. It doesn't seem like I can tap anything though. Alright, what was the next one? Shrimps. Oh, so we're shooting shrimps. Shooting shrimps at Steven. I guess Steven is the bird. Don't forget all the kiddos. Hey. Oh, take the shrimp, dude. There he is. Shrimp. Eating. Get him all the way back there. Oh, so close, but not there. Got it? Yeah, got him. I guess I need to get these stars too. Boom. Nice. Just shooting the shrimps at the birds, getting you a little hungry for some lunchtime, huh? What's the last one we have here in feeding Steven? Aha. So do I want to... No, I want to avoid the foxes. Ooh. Something to collect on this one would be nice. Boom. And also, this is a little quiet. Let's bring up those game sounds a bit. I guess this one was just pretty chill music in general. Oh, you got more levels of feeding Steven? Sweet. That was enjoyable. Cool. Very cool. All right. Well, guys, I think we have reached the end of the stream for this week. I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. It has been a blast, as always. As for streaming, of course, I will be back here next week, same time, same channels, Thursday, 3 p.m. Helsinki. That's 8 p.m. in the Philippines, noon UTC. There will be a link available for you to find the stream in your local time zone at some point next week on the Discord and the wiki. But definitely I'll be back here Thursday. We may have a TikTok stream again next week. We'll let you know about that one. And yeah, September starts on Wednesday. New month next week. And hopefully pretty soon we're going to see a new update and the return of jams. So we have both of those things to look forward to. And that's going to do it for today. One more time, I want to thank everybody for coming hanging out. Definitely thank you everybody that gave me questions, gave me stuff to look at in the editor. That's what the stream is all about. So I love being able to do it, help you guys out with your problems as much as I can, and give you some insights into the world of HypeHype. So until next time, I hope you guys all have a great Thursday and a wonderful weekend. I have been Shogun, and I will see you soon. Peace.